What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about a short squeeze. More and more articles are all coming out pointing to Lucid having a very big squeeze, but I want to break it down for you, what the current short data is, and what in Lucid's case could prompt a squeeze. So I'm going to go over all that fun stuff. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. All greatly appreciated. With that, let's get right to it. So as you can see, this is one of the many latest articles talking about a squeeze. So it does talk on Lucid, GameStop, and Sirius as well. So when it comes to it though, I really don't like this. And again, I could be completely wrong. I'm not a financial advisor or anything, but I'm a big believer in Lucid. I'm sure you guys may or may not know that. But Lucid is always considered a meme stock, especially more so when it does get grouped in with, for instance, GameStop and also AMC and things like that. I'm particularly not a fan of that, but again, let me know your thoughts on that. But that aside though, this is the latest article talking about a short squeeze. And it does talk when it comes to Lucid as far as them really ramping up production, their short interest being fairly high, how many actual $1 billion worth of shorts are out there. So I'm going to give you a good breakdown of exactly things that you need to know. So going back to Ortex, I do have a link to them in the description below as well. But as you can see right now, the short score is 87. The higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. Utilization is 100%, showing 100% of the available shares to short are currently out. And as far as what happened on Friday, shorts did return 3.44 million shares. So definitely a pretty significant kind of returning there. I'm going to break it down as well, what prompted that. But as of Friday, there was 22.41% of the free float is being shorted. So that's pretty significant. And Lucid, unfortunately, from the get-go, has always had a fairly high short interest. So it does suck in the grand scheme of things, the fact that Lucid does have a very good product, just fundamentally, it's being suppressed by a lot of shorts. And so outside of that though, cost to borrow average is 10.23. Keep in mind that is an annual rate. So Lucid typically moves up or down 3 or 4% almost every single day. I'm sure a lot of us already are completely aware of that and just accepted that at this stage. So just be aware that 10.23% on an annual basis is absolutely nothing. But regardless, if you don't know what cost to borrow is, that's what shorts pay to maintain their position. So that's just a little more of a fun facts. But when it comes down to a squeeze, there's several different components that you do need fairly high. One of which is cost to borrow, other being the overall amount of shares being shorted. You need that sufficiently high. Or I guess you could just look at the short interest regardless. 22.41 is pretty high, or 132.72 million shares. Both are relatively high. Over and above that, you need a high utilization. So in Lucid's case, it has all of that. So fundamentally, on paper, I agree with all the articles. Fundamentally, it can have a very good squeeze, but in order for a squeeze to occur, you need an X catalyst. More specifically, you need a surprise catalyst. So when it comes down to, for instance, this, which recently came out, so the launch event is coming out on the 15th. Keep in mind, I'm live streaming that, so make sure you guys subscribe, but you do need a surprise catalyst. Initially, when they announced the launch event, there was absolutely no indication of possibly what they might talk on. But based on a lot of articles, it does look like the cat is out of the bag. So they're going to be launching the Air Pure and the Touring. So when it comes to that now, everyone is privy to that information. So retail investors, institutions, shorts, your dog, neighbor, everyone now knows this information. So this is why shorts did return roughly about, like I said, 3.44 million shares on Friday. So as soon as news does come out, for instance, this, shorts can anticipate, same as investors, we can all anticipate the risk associated, see potentially how high this could cause Lucid to go or how low it could cause Lucid to go if it is negative. So this is where news, when it does get announced, shorts can anticipate. So this is where I always say you need a surprise catalyst. One good surprise catalyst that is potentially coming up is our earnings. So we did officially announce our production and delivery numbers, definitely going in the right direction. By no means what I think a lot of investors truly wanted. I think we were wanting a little bit more, but I'm not here to talk about that right now. I'm going to be doing a specific Q3 as far as expectations video, most likely tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But when it comes down to earnings though, when they do talk on future guidance, this is where they can talk on absolutely anything under the sun. And even more specifically, these questions, this is an opportunity for retail investors to potentially ask some very difficult questions. So for instance, if they say, what is the production target for 2023? As of right now, it is estimated to be around 49,000, which was their 2021 production targets. So for instance, let's say for argument's sake, they come in and they say, you know what? Based on the recent movement and everything like that, we're now going to do 80,000. Well, guess what? That is a unknown fact prior to the earnings, and now that we know it, it is a surprise catalyst. So that in among itself would give the opportunity for a squeeze. So I hope you kind of are understanding with where I'm going with this. So let me know your thoughts on this. If you have any questions generally about anything short related or whatever I talked on, let me know in the comments below. But definitely there is a lot of good potential catalysts that could come from these three questions. So these are the three top questions that haven't really changed over the last little bit. So I've already touched on that. So let me know your thoughts on that. Over and above that, economic data. So as far as next week, we do have our GDP numbers coming out on Thursday, so the 10th. Sorry, I think I said GDP, but I do mean CPI. But regardless, CPI is coming out, and personally, it's weird. I feel CPI just came out last week. Time is going way too fast, but CPI is coming out, and as you can see, the month over month is forecasted to be 0.7. So for argument's sake, if it is at 0 or even less or even negative, for instance, then potentially that as well could be a very surprise catalyst. It would give the broad market a very good surprise and give the option for shorts to have a little bit more of a squeeze. So when it comes to it though, those are some facts that definitely are behind the scenes. We already know we do have a very good product, so it does suck to see that we have a lot of shorts betting against us. Even a lot of articles talking about how Lucid has a very big advantage over Tesla, talking about the range as far as that it has, and also the performance that the Sapphire does have as well and provide. So that definitely is a very positive thing. So it does suck, but keep in mind when Tesla was in our similar early stages, they were getting shorted to high hell. And not only that though, shorts technically had Elon on their side because Elon was a smoking gun. He was Russian roulette. He can literally talk on absolutely anything and it could be perceived as a very big negative. Obviously, secured funding at 420 and complete BS. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things that shorts took that fear around Elon and just Tesla and all that and shorted it. So I know a lot of us don't necessarily like that short interest is fairly high on Lucid, but in the bigger picture, it is all going to work out. This is my own opinion, of course. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. So let me know your thoughts on that. And if you personally and truly feel if Lucid is ever going to have a squeeze, let me know in the comments below. My own 2 cents on that, I actually do not think Lucid is ever going to have a squeeze, especially more so what a lot of people are talking about, AMC and stuff like that. That's my own interpretation. The only reason why I'm doing this video is I've noticed a very common trend. A lot of articles are all talking about, like I said, short squeeze. I don't know if that's just clickbait or whatever it might be, but at the end of the day, I personally do not feel that Lucid is going to do that. I know technically they're not the most transparent company, so when they do come out with something, it usually is a little bit more of a surprise, but they generally don't come out with that news too often. And outside of that, when they do have the opportunity to give a little bit more of a squeeze, they usually let the cat out of the bag as far as with this launch event. And it would have been absolutely amazing if they just did a black picture and that's it. No showcasing, no nothing, just say Lucid to launch or launch event or whatever it is, just a black picture. That would give so much speculation. I guarantee all of us would be like, what are they doing? Are they like building an airplane? What on earth are they doing? So that definitely would be a very big catalyst. And not only that though, if potentially the market does appreciate whatever the launch is around, whether it be Gravity. I keep bringing up the Gravity, but because I'm really a big fan of that and I really want them to open up the reservations. But again, if they have a very big catalyst, then potentially we could have a squeeze. Keep in mind, let's say for instance at this launch event, if they do say that they're moving up the Gravity to the first half of 2023, which would be absolutely amazing, and they're also moving up that mid-size SUV to around the 2024 instead of mid-decade, that would give Lucid a massive, massive bump up. So this is where I'm saying Lucid does have the capability of kind of killing the shorts in some sense, but they choose not to. unfortunately, but still, it is what it is. Hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend. Let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. If you haven't, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Always greatly appreciated. If you do like my channel, want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that said, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.